Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. Last time we finished up the second case, and yeah, we came to the conclusion that there were lots of pipe blowing activities happening there. That was interesting. And then we started this one, which is, I've been told, the start of peak. All right, and we've already had a couple kooky, crazy little characters come in and some lore drops, and possible Mr. Sholmes going a little, having a little bit of a, I don't know what he's doing. I hope he's not the Reaper, but it seems like Mr. Assistant to Von Zeeks, we know them. And his face shape and his clothes underneath, it gave me Sholmes vibes. And that seems like a wacky thing he'd do. So, I don't know. Thank you, Frenon. 25 months. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you. But yeah, so we'll see what comes of that. I do have another game lined up today. So hopefully we can get to that. But I wanted to start with Ace Attorney, just because, we're so close to the end, may as well, and it usually takes the longest, so that's what we're going to start with today. A little earlier than usual, by like an hour or two, so I'm ready. I'm fresh. I had a shower, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to investigate. Oh yeah, I don't know if I even have to address it, but I will. The last Ace Attorney stream went up publicly before it was ready. Nothing bad was in it or anything. It was just, Twitch has this new thing where when you go to export, it's automatically on public instead of private now, where before it was the other way around. So I privated it. I'll make a thumbnail and properly title it later, but yeah, that was annoying to find out that was just live when I woke up. Cool. But the one that I edited together's up, I put a little funny edit in there because of Twitch breaking. So there's that. If you want to go look at that, I mean, it's nothing too fun, but I had a little goof around. All right. Oh, I need to turn it up. Always with the volume. Always with the volume, huh? All right, let me up that. There we go. So that's it? The machine that blew up? So that's it?
Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion. I've seen my fair share.
You've seen things like this before, you mean?
Ah, of course. Hurley's always doing experiments that end in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry.
That might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs.
One time, he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. Oh, I wish you'd been there to see it, Runo.
It's hard to get excited about that, given that I now live in the roof.
Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate.
Yeah, wait, we're just gonna gloss over the fact that we live in the roof now? We get blown off, we're gonna, well, alright. Oh, look, Inspector Gregson's over there. Seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully.
Really, he just looks confused to me.
What the fucking hell is this even? I don't even fucking know. It'll only be a fish and chip. And a brewski.
Ba-ba, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da, ba-da. So William and Turner, we saw this before. That didn't come to anything. We didn't even... Our two guys aren't even William and Turner. I don't know who that is. Are they even going to be relevant? I don't know. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it?
Magnificently and mercilessly.
Someone stands in the middle of that machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air?
Yeah, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point.
Yeah, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris?
Oh, Vuno, I'm just a child. How should I know?
Child, when it suits you, you mean?
From what I can tell, I think if you were to pull this lever here...
Stop! Stop! Don't touch that! Don't touch it!
Oh, that was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over here just now, Gregsy.
Please, your ladyship, I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here.
Oh, so sorry. You're going to have the latest kind of my special blend to make up for it.
Yeah, guzzle that down.
Oh, wonderful! Oh, this stuff is really wonderful.
Yeah, just like old times, this is. Bop bop. Bop bop. Bop bop. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Bop bop. Bop bop. We're representing Professor Hairbrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene.
Listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's that blasted Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty.
Oh, yeah, that special dispensation. Professor mentioned that, too.
More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks that it's playing it sometimes.
Well, we're allowed to just look, aren't we?
Eh?
Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gregsy?
Yeah, of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship, but please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you?
Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Vuno?
She really knows how to get what she wants. Oh yeah, we would have been denied hard. If we were just asking. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body and then beam him across to the Crystal Tower, it's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public.
True, it was by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition, mind.
To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean...
The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the odd spot of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new tech, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Sure, the powers that be are placing heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment.
What sort of rights?
Yeah, they're making it so that any fairies the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into a practical idea, even going into production. Which is the infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch the crime scene. Because the new highfalutin Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it.
Oh, I see now.
The only people with permission to investigate here are some of the brand new department at the yard. The Forensic Investigation Team is called. Yeah, we've been relegated to keeping guard.
Forensic Investigation Team.
Any old fool can see that even scrap metal is a sham to begin with. But just because it's scientific equipment on the paperwork, well, we can't do a flaming thing about it.
Oh, poor Gregsy. Oh, he's very hit up, isn't he?
Bop bop. Bop bop. Ba-da-da-da-da. Bop bop. Bop bop. Remind me again, what's this new legal act that mentions we're not allowed to touch the scene here?
Oh, you haven't me at it, Sunshine. It's the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
Yeah, I think Hurley mentioned that recently. Oh, with a real twinkle in his eye, if I remember.
Oh, I'm sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some shoots in the civil service. If it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality.
What does that really mean?
Think about it. Think about all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me, performed by shammers like yourself.
I resent that.
Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. Oh, it's all so much fun.
It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present for every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Hang science, that's what I say.
Oh, I don't think so. Sounds like my dream job.
You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shammers, bogus contraptions.
Well, if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point.
Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly.
Sorry?
Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas, if any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant.
The scientists get funding.
Exactly. And that's what they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. Who is to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome him? That's us coppers, that's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science! Hang it!
No, maybe I can see your point.
Apparently, Professor Harebrain lives and works in Germany now conducting his research.
That's right. Come back to Britain especially for the great exhibition, as I understand it.
We should probably mention to him maybe like in 40 or so years, he should probably dip from Germany.
Probably after one of the government's research grants.
Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. Turns out he was at university with someone we both know. Lord Van Zeeks.
Hey, who's that? Well, that's news to me. But what if Van Zeeks managed the prosecution? Then as the accused, the professor's fate is...
Sealed? Because the Reaper will get him one way or another?
Blimey, that man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in his head of these. Talking of Van Zeeks, this morning's paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that?
Oh, yes, but Mr. Reaper's completely fine. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long's that business gonna keep up, I wonder?
Oh boy. The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Asman, he was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard.
Lord Barrick Von Zeeks is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win.
Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came out, isn't it?
Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zeeks initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court.
Although the man himself denies that charge.
Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zeeks is in no way related to the deaths of the people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would.
But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them.
I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper.
Oh, whoa. Professor Harebrain mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Von Zeeks was a totally different person, easygoing and kind.
You what?
He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what that was?
No clue.
Really?
Yo, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh?
Okay. If you say so. As a detective, what do you make of this? Da-da-da-da-da. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Harebrained was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. Should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think.
Touch anything, help me make sure I'll kill you before I get strung up myself, you hear?
I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could disassemble people like the professor claims?
He acts looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we?
Because of the annoying rules, you mean?
Exactly, the annoying, obstructive, flaming rules.
Yeah, look at the base of the machine there.
Oh, yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh.
It's the screwdriver, I think.
Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle's in the shape of a capital letter A.
It is. Oh, yes, you're right. A for Asmon?
What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said.
Yes, I understand. Sorry. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit.
But Gracie, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Really very, very curious.
Gosh, your ladyship, you're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. But I'm afraid I can't let you have it.
Well, Bruno found it first.
I'll assure you I'll investigate it thoroughly.
He's gone off with it.
That was very mean. Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now.
Poor Gregsy. Bro's just doing his job, man. Bro can't do nothing, man. That amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the crystal tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to wherever they're going.
I don't think we were supposed to shoot anything, Bruno. It was set up to beam people to the crystal tower where they'd be reconstructed in their original form.
Well, I don't like the look of it. If it was as amazing as it looks, the accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course.
I suppose that's true, yeah.
But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? So those are people carrying balloons dangling slightly in the sky. Those are people carrying balloons dangling slightly in the skies over London. Silently. Slightly. They're only slightly hovering. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly. But I never imagined it would involve them being suspended by colorful floating Tamari handballs.
Sure must feel amazing being up there among the clouds. Oh, let's take a ride together, Bruno, please.
For me, perfectly honest, I would like to try it. But without a cast iron guarantee that that thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared.
Oh, well, in that case, I should tell you that what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground as long as it doesn't explode.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might actually play a little on my mind. Alright. Anything else to examine? Oh. There are all sorts of strange buildings here in the Great Exhibition Grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time.
Oh, in your country, Runo. Oh, I do wish I could go and see it. I present a particularly steely samurai with a present of one of Hurley's stories I'd written specially. And see if I couldn't get Hurley into a jam against one of the Butetsu Master Ninjas.
You might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think.
Oh, well, that's dull.
No, but I do know a prosecutor with a Shanmaj top knot I could introduce you to.
A Shamash, really? Oh, do you think I could have my picture taken with him, do ya?
Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year ago. Yes. And the trim that Susato gave him as well. Of course. Bup. Inspector, have you read this paper?
Two unwelcome blasts back to back. This one at the exhibition and the Reaper getting attacked.
I know, terrible news to wake up to, wasn't it?
Tried to pretend I hadn't read it and turned over for another 40 weeks. Thanks to that, I was laid up and got roasted from the super.
Some mornings are like that, aren't they? Ba-da-ba-ba. Okay, well, I think I've examined everything, but, you know, it's hard to tell. Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait, I guess did we tell them that we're defending? I don't remember. This is the symbol of a defense lawyer where I come from, Inspector.
Well, it doesn't pass muster here in London. You might as well chuck it in the deep fat fryer.
No one's ever said that to me before. Mr. Shom suggested I feed it to a dog, though.
If you try it first, you can feed it to me.
Does he think it's made of potato? Tinker around this place some more. Oh, wait, we're down here. Ah.
Oh, look, what's this? It's a ripped piece of cloth.
It's not like any fabric I've ever seen before. It's very thick and stiff. It looks extremely durable.
It's canvas, I think, with some sort of rubber backing. And the edges appear to be a bit charred as well.
Maybe that means it had something to do with the explosion.
Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. Oh, it looks as though someone's dropped something behind the trees just here.
Dropped or hid? What's this? Some part of a machine that exploded?
Maybe. It could have fallen from the platform above in the blast, I suppose. What's going on here?
Nothing. I think I'll hang on to this just in case. It's definitely like a crossbow. The Crystal Tower. It's certainly an apt name. It was built to be the focal point of the exhibition, and it definitely is, being so tall and with all that glass. I can't imagine a building like this ever being erected in Japan.
You said erected. Oh, there are lots of exhibits inside the tower as well, apparently. Of course, there's an observation deck, but there's also an art gallery, a zoo, and a museum. Well, you have to queue for 3 hours just to get through the doors.
Well, at the moment, the shattered glass from the failed experiment may well be the biggest draw.
And thanks to that accident, the whole tower's shut.
Suddenly, it's not the Crystal Tower anymore, but the Crystal Glass Shower.
Apparently everyone's taken to the skies now to look down on the disaster from the above instead. Well, there's a 3-hour queue to go up in the balloon now.
Londoners must be very patient people. Alright. Let's look at our stuff. Looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Shom's methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really, really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. Alright. There's some sort of lever here. Oh yeah, that's a full-ass crossbow. What's this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Wow. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. Okay, you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device, then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. Ugh, I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this on the exhibition grounds. This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's sort of a bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyudo archery training. Or Kyudo. Alright. Ugh. For some reason, the ground is damaged in this spot. Look. It's almost as if there was a fire here or something.
Yeah, if you look closely, there's some scattered ash and burnt embers here too.
I suppose there wasn't a big explosion just above here. People probably wouldn't bat an eyelid if a small fire like that were to happen.
I'm not sure we English are quite that laid back, Bruno.
Ba-da-da-ba-ba-da. This platform must have been set up for the experiment, I suppose. It's very high up.
About 30 feet above the ground, apparently. That's what a policeman I just spoke to said.
I don't really understand feet very well. We don't use them in Japan.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's about 9 meters.
Wow, even back then, Japan was using the proper system? God.
Soon you'll have to have been in London a year, Bruno. It's time you got used to our measurements.
Yes, well, this thing is so tall, the spectators at the front would have just seen a wall and nothing else.
You probably thought they'd secured the best spot to watch from, only to be disappointed.
There's a saying in Japan, the darkest spot is right under the lighthouse. I feel like it probably applies here. Well, we got some new stuff to show. Okay. Alright. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, bop. How do I get back down? I don't even know. What is that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel.
Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins, you see.
Why?
Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery.
Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still.
Yeah, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour.
If you were mad enough to go in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think?
I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Bruno.
I guess we just gotta... I don't know. No, we're done there. I guess it's this bottom part that we haven't finished. Can we show her any of it, or... Alright.
That's where the cub ended up after his instant kinesis or whatever they call it. Did, of course.
And yet they're... Whoops. And yet they're calling the experiment a success?
What's that wooden scaffold there for? Hey, the coppers. Ah, lads, set that up after the incident happened.
Happened.
To get the body down, I think. I don't know, really.
Didn't you help erect the scaffold, though?
Nah, lookout duty's more my thing. Wandering around the exhibition and keeping a lookout for the fun stuff.
Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that, or he'll give you the boot. Incredible, though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged the gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? There we go. That was it. That's all I was missing.
Runa, listen!
What is it?
I've been thinking. Ellie might know something, mightn't he?
About what?
About Mr. Reaper!
Oh, about what happened to Lord Von Zeeks, you mean? It sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he?
Here, this is what you need.
Some kind of entrance ticket? Venom Tusples. Is this supposed to mean something to me?
You don't know it! Oh, it's a popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We can go now if you like.
No, we don't have the time for visiting attractions today. We have a big trial tomorrow.
Well, that's where Early is.
What? At this popular London attraction?
Yeah!
How is it that you know where he is?
Oh, Early told me. But he told me to keep it a secret from you, Runo.
Venom Tusples. I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then stranger things have happened. When they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Alright. Let me just check something real quick. Ah! No, he's gone. He's gone.
He's ignoring you, Runo.
Prosecution and defense should avoid speaking outside of the courtroom as a rule. So if anyone is being rude here, it's most certainly the man in black standing there before us.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you for setting the record straight. Did you see that? He spoke to me, Runo.
So, Lord Von Zeeks, have you managed to visit the Great Exhibition yet?
He's definitely ignoring you.
Right. No niceties either, then. And your little apprentice is gone. Suspiciously. I don't like that. Got no evidence to say it is Sholmes, but it's just weird enough to be something he would do. Just hope it's not sinister if it is him. What is this place? Look at all these terrifying scenes. But why are all the people so still? Guillotines, ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight.
They're all wax models. They're amazingly realistic, aren't they? What do you think, Bruno? Shocked?
Wax models? Yeah. I read about dead bodies in wax once in a magazine about a strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn to wax, apparently. It's called an epitaseer.
Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me. Anyway. Adipocacy. What's now?
I've just remembered something else I read in another magazine about a strange phenomena. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display.
None of the exhibits in here are real. They're all entirely man-made replicas.
They can't be. Do you really expect me to believe that? Just look at them.
Yeah.
There's no way anybody can make models of people that are this realistic. Well. And they're all such gruesome scenes. Wait.
What is it?
Oh, no. I must be seeing things. Arm. Is this an arm?
Looks like an arm, doesn't it? Maybe one of the waxwork models has fallen over.
You don't think it could be the work of one of the mass murderers in here, do you?
Bruno, just stop scaring me.
Is it a wax arm or a real one?
Come on, you're always pointing that finger of yours in court. Poke that arm now and see how it feels.
Objection! It's the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here? Really?
Well, he is world famous after all. I'm sure the fact he doesn't have any shading means nothing.
It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? Makes my skin crawl to look at it.
Oh, I know. But look, Bruno, you can kick this early and it doesn't move a muscle.
Uh-oh. What the fuck? Wait. Oh.
Oh, ow, oh, my fucking knee. Iris. Oh, you really have a good leg on you.
You can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris. Wait. The way he moved right there was crazy. It just moved, I'm sure, and not just a little bit either.
Really? Did it?
Look closely. There are beads of sweat on his face of this of the waxwork model. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look, there's a great murder scene to enjoy, much more appealing.
My dear fellow, I take exception to you recoiling in such a manner as if you've seen something truly abhorrent.
Mr. Sholmes!
I knew it. Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo.
Temporary waxwork? What do you mean?
Oh, that kick! Could you have not exercised a little more restraint? You winded me.
But Bruno has something he needs to ask you.
Ah, a question.
I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are.
Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more being stationary like that. And my great brain upon which all my success has been built would have turned to wax.
Thank goodness we arrived in time.
Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss.
Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you?
He could know something, it's true, about Lord Von Zeeks and what happened in the past to change him.
Well, now that you're here, let's take our time. How can I be of assistance? For you're in luck. I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing.
No, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry.
And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it's related to the matter about which you've come to me now.
But how could that be?
We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now I must return to my work.
I love it. I love him. Please don't be evil. Please just be undercover with... If you are that assistant, mysteriously appearing and disappearing, please tell me that, you know, you're chill, okay? And you're just doing it to get info on him. To keep an eye on the guy. What? Back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? Okay.
Well, what is it you'd like to ask me then?
Actually, it's about Lord Van Zeeks.
Ah, our friend Mr. Reaper. How'd you find him? Well, I trust.
Yeah, wouldn't you know? So I filled Mr. Sholmes in about everything I'd learned. About Lord Von Zeeks and Professor Harebrain. About the strange coincidence that they'd both been at the university together. So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Von Zeeks such a different person.
I was sure that you know, Hurley.
You said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before. That something was afoot. That you believe it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes? He suddenly clammed up.
Well, it seems we've reached the unavoidable...
Greetings. Oh, hello? 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 Where'd she appear from? What's she wearing? Does she look any more mysterious? Oh my god.
I'm clamming up myself, Mr. Sholmes, you know. I ain't the only one. Oh, Mamma Mia.
I hope you're appreciating my museum.
Sorry? Have we... Mr. Sholmes, do you know this? Not again.
My apologies. I am Esmeralda Tusples. This is my Museum of Waxwork.
You're Madame Tuspels?
Been, sir. Though only 26 years young, I might add.
Wow. 26. Mamma mia. You know, goth wizard wife, let's go. Is that significant somehow?
I'm a madam in name only. It adds a certain je ne sais quoi.
Right.
Firstly, I must apologize for my waxworks, or rather, one waxwork in particular.
That'll be Mr. Sholmes then.
I was led to believe he was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be toil and trouble.
I love that. That is just like fucking Undertale humor almost. Just a complete reaction that instantly back to normal. I love it. It's so cartoony.
She sounds deadly serious.
That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Shums about Lord Von Zeeks now?
Let's not forget what Hurley said before about something being afoot. Right here in the museum, I mean.
Yes, I know, but...
Oh, I'm so curious. I want to know what's happening here.
Haven't we got enough on our plate already? Did you make all these waxworks, Madam Tusples?
That's it. I'm the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know? Gosh! It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. Though that is when she acquired the Saviour Fair that leads to the astonishing life-likeness. All these waxworks really do look like they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than early. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All of the waxworks here are created in the presence of real people in which they are modelled. In the hours immediately following their executions. That is the second to the extraordinary life-likeness.
That sounds terrifying.
All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade per excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see.
Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying?
Do not fear.
Sorry?
This room's the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope.
It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it.
Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things.
What's the situation with, that?
Ah, my temporary waxwork model. He approached me some days ago with a business proposal.
What sort of proposal?
My dear madam, what these sparse exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous great detective.
Words to that effect. Naturally, I'm well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective.
It's great detective, actually. He's very specific about it.
Yes, the creme de la creme. So I was keen to come up to some sort of arrangement with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree terms.
Let me guess, someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services?
For a mere £500, I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment.
Oh, words to that effect.
Mr. Shums might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch.
Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment, due to unforeseen circumstances.
Half-Life 2? What the fuck? Is G-Man here?
So we can come to the current arrangement instead.
Hello, Pepper. Surely he doesn't really need to do what he's doing, though, does he?
I would think not, but he was very insistent.
I have a 50-shilling problem that must be resolved by the morning.
Or words to that effect. It's the pawnbroker, that's what it is. He must have something to redeem.
Is the consulting detective work not going so well? Something afoot. Actually, an arm. I wonder, could I ask you something?
Bin, sir?
Yeah, I'm just curious if anything goes on in the museum at the moment. Some kind of incident, perhaps? My day has been pretty good so far. I mean, I've only really woken up, showered, and then streamed, so it's not been very eventful, I suppose, but it's been good. Hope your day's been good, too.
Whoever suggested such a thing to you?
Oh, well, it was your temporary waxwork over there who mentioned it to me a little... Oh, he's disappeared!
A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade.
There you are!
Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working? Do you wish to be melted down?
My dear Madam Tussable, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem we must throw into the melting pot instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police.
Why ever not?
She's turned as white as a sheet.
Because you have at your disposal a great detective whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. No, please be aware that I prefer... No, I insist upon payment in advance.
Bro is just trying to make a penny.
Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we?
Before I engage my analytical process, I must ask you to clarify something. What, pray, is behind the curtain?
It is the Tussable special exhibit. There's an extra charge to see it.
Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a special killer then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain, I wonder?
Absolutely, absolutely none. There is nothing amiss behind there.
Nothing amiss, madam. What about the arm protruding ominously from under the curtain? I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond before the situation worsens.
Yes, very well. I will draw back the curtains, but only have a soukon.
Sorry if my French pronunciation's not up to snuff. I'm not particularly French. Oh, a grave.
I must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Tussable special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. And yet, somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however, is the portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor.
Wait, isn't that one of the... Didn't we have him as a juror in the other game? I swear, he looks familiar. Well, then perhaps Mr. Sholmes, that man on the floor, is the ruthless killer himself?
I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman. Not even a waxwork, in fact.
What?
As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they are always distinguishable from real humans. So, allow me to present my two conclusions. The first is that a sizable business transaction has been taking place in this special exhibit.
Why would you say that?
And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime.
She looks as pale as candle wax.
I don't understand.
So, Madam Tusbles, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective temporary exhibit at work.
Oh boy, I'm gonna need a drink for this. The game is afoot. Waxworks Fate. Such a good song. All right. Oh, fuck. I love inhaling soda fumes. Just a big load of gas that entered my mouth. Mmm. It's the first drink I've had today, actually. I don't think I've drank anything else.
To begin with, we might ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum. The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. In my estimation, some £200.
That's all my own money.
So what does this large sum of money reveal? Ah, not as much as the involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Madam Tusples. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that public notice. Waxwork for sale. Your business has hit hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer the centerpiece of your special exhibit for the sum of £200.
No!
Now, let us explore this next curiosity from which we are presented. Who is this portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear this man has suffered severe shock, the cause of which is clearly been known to you. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte.
Hello, big boss.
What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the £200. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively.
She could twist me around her finger any day as long as she's not evil.
He rashly agreed to purchase the waxwork for a sum of £200. Only when he came to hand the money over did it occur to him what an extortionate amount he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hands.
Oh my god.
And the result? Well, the scene we see before us. He collapsed in shock. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit fetched a killer price. We can only pray that the gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regret.
Yeah, I'm sure that's perfectly reasonable. Sold for cash. I'm guessing maybe it was stolen or something? I don't know. It's hard to tell. You can never really know. Sholmes is just picking out the complete wrong shit.
The question that arises then is what became of the waxwork that changed hands? Sorry, I messed up my pronunciations there. Let me try it again, shall I? The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? That's better. Let us consider the problem for a moment.
You cannot possibly...
What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe the neckerchief. Such is worn by the policeman as a secret sign to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay.
What are you talking about?
The man's quite a celebrity. He's received triple accolades at his last year's policing awards.
But...
Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him in this particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely and hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork.
But you...
Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is obvious by the price tag. Threepence, a typical low price, you might say. Or a tragically low price, though perhaps the going rate for aging waxworks riddled with cracks. And yet you sold it to the portly gentleman for an exorbitant £200. The sort of plucky behaviour that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't that so, madam?
I do not.
Yes, the waxwork you sold here has already been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with his grave in the special exhibit, and not a moment too soon.
Discovered already. I didn't mean to dink you guys with my glass, I'm sorry.
Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. I see I've stunned you all into silence.
You have, Harry, you have. And you've obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron's looking awful hot.
If I could just bring up one point, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, the notorious Naruhodo, 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow.
According to your deduction, then the special exhibit featured this old policeman. So that would mean that he's particularly a ruthless murderer, wouldn't it?
The killer policeman, Otto Mole.
Sorry?
It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time only to find the culprit had disappeared into the aether.
It turned out the culprit was a policeman himself, a senior officer by the name of Otto Mole.
So you mean that's who the sinister old man they're supposed to be?
Indeed, it's a particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance very only too well.
But is £200 a lot of money for a wax model?
It would be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages, if that puts things in perspective.
So, it's quite a lot then.
Is there anything else you wish to add before I melt you down?
That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous.
Oh, the smell of that molten wax is starting to worry me.
Mr. Sholmes did more or less accuse her to her face. So, I think I might have to call on your assistance here, Iris. Is that all right? Make some minor corrections to the great detective's great deductions.
Of course it's all right. We'll soon set things straight.
Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Tusples vents her anger.
Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow. So, Madame Tusples, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work.
Course correction, baby. I thought we were gonna have to do it ourselves. But nope. We got our little accomplice. Gonna be all the same until here. She definitely looked in this direction, it's true.
I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks even for £200.
Oh?
She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything.
For that much money, I would. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway, what if the £200 could have some other significance?
Let's follow the furtive glance again and see if there's something else that could explain it.
Oh, the note on the wall. £200.
Take that!
Oh, I gotta examine it first. Yeah, we gotta examine it first. Fuck, I always make that goddamn mistake. You don't have to explain it again.
What's that note Jim pinned on the wall back there?
Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madam Tusbles, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is 200 pounds. Have the money ready by noon on the 23rd of October.
What?
It's just like the sort of thing left behind when someone's kidnapped.
Yes, it's a ransom note.
Exactly. I was gonna say, maybe that note actually does read something and I just can't read the linked writing, but no, that was way too many words for what's written there.
Take that!
The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so, and we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness abducting a waxwork. 200 pounds is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it.
The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have.
In summary, then, the 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity from which we are presented. Who is this portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you.
You know, we've had rain for the past like 4 or 5 days, which has been really nice. But it's actually sunny today, so I'm gonna open all my stuff before it gets too hot. I'm sure it's not gonna be as hot because it's not gonna be as muggy. And it is autumn. But still, I just wanna make sure. Means I can have my roof open again. Ow! Actually, before I continue, I wanna check the weather just to make sure. I mean, I'll probably notice if I start getting rain on my head, but... Alright, Still reckons there's gonna be rain today. I don't even see it on the forecast, but, alright. Okie dokie.
Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte.
You got use out of one of the worst perks doing... Okay, I thought my phone was on silent, but alright. Let's go.
We could just ask him when he comes round.
I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris.
Yeah, you're right. He's trying so hard, we mustn't let him down.
Well, it's a little doubt he suffered a shock, that much is clear. But in that case, what's Madame Tusbles trying to hide? Let's have a closer look around. Hey! The hand of Madame. Oh, wait, that is her. Wait, no, that's not her hand. That is not her hand. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, it's just her hand. No, it ain't. Bruce got a different skin color.
This is just Madame Tusbles' right hand, isn't it?
Yes, it must be. I can clearly see your left hand after all.
Oh, but wait a minute. This is your left hand as well, look.
We're gonna ignore the fact that it's completely different skin tone and a much larger hand. Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please.
That seems very stiff, too. In fact, it's really hard.
You mean... It's made of wax? Let's hope that's what she means.
Take that!
So, Did you beat him over the head? What did you do? What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand.
Indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow.
How could you?
The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be the right hand, but closer inspection reveals that, in fact, it's a left hand. And somewhat masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madam. It is the hand of a waxwork model.
Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage.
So you mean that arm?
Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try remove it as a souvenir.
No small keepsake.
Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view the cherry blossoms.
I'm afraid... sorry, you go, Tusbles.
I'm afraid I had to teach the man a lesson.
Fair. You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back.
And the result, the scene we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later, but for the time being, we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in this exhibit has been kidnapped.
Kidnapped.
The question that arises then is, what has become of the waxwork that changed hands?
According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is a sign to other policemen that some crime is underway.
Worth communicating with his colleagues without revealing his identity, yeah. It's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard.
Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away.
Well, uncovering secrets is any true detective's nature, of course.
Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Tuspel's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, I think perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly.
Take that!
Yeah, we ain't even need to examine that one. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only to observe his shoulder stub.
No such boneless human walks this earth. Of that I can assure you. In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact defying all odds, a waxwork model.
I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes.
He has become quite a celebrity in London, but being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year, I simply had to make a model of the man.
Naturally. What other explanation could there be?
It was the detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the exhibit, wasn't it?
Next we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with this particularly unsightly visage.
I think that's just his scarf. A killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known?
It was all over the papers last year, but I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price, though. Threepence isn't much money.
Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Garrideb's delightful lodgings, in fact. Ugh. So this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds? Is this crusty old killer policeman, Otter Mole? Really? Oh dear.
Perhaps we should have a good look around again, see if anything else crops up.
£3. It's a far cry from £200, isn't it?
For threepence, you could buy it and put it on display in your room, Bruno. Fuck, I can't stop sneezing now.
I think I'd rather not go to sleep being watched by an old man if it's all the same to you.
This price tag does stand out, doesn't it? I mean, you couldn't even buy the helmet on his head for that much money, I don't think.
I wonder what the price tag's really for, then. Can't you read it?
Take that! Bro's twitching.
I'm twitching right now. Hold on. Something's in the air, and I've released it into my room. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch.
In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard.
Slight shift in your choice of adjective, then.
And there you have it. Well, Madam Tusples?
Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in in the first place.
He's clearly fatigued. He's so sound asleep. But then, what's this tag about a price of £3?
No doubt the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. And I presume you've observed the scarf wrapped around that arm. Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, yeah, the secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway.
Of course, because, you know, there has been such criminal activity happening here. Just as you deduced from the very beginning, Detective.
So it would seem that we finally arrived at the truth.
The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped.
And Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remain a mystery.
Okay, was the model the thing that went into the machine? No, right? We saw him walk in on the video.
Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle.
Still a mystery.
Deduction complete. Elementary!
Very good.
All sorts of people visit my museum here, men, women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in just for a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome them all. But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway. Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had been led to believe.
It was a pleasure, my dear madam. I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display. If it was indeed genuinely abducted.
Yes, tragically, it was.
Then I would ask you to recount us those events surrounding the stolen waxwork. In as much detail as possible, if you please.
Very well. But after I've told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work.
The talents of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel, but as you wish.
Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please.
It was some days ago now when I came in here one morning. I immediately noticed that a waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here. Is it your most prominent display? So, that's why the curtains were closed. And I found the ransom note in its place.
The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then.
So this waxwork was stolen? It was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose? Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who'd left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor.
Not a name I've heard of.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle's complete.
Sorry?
The Professor case happened at around the time I was born, didn't it?
Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital.
10 years ago?
Yes, at exactly the time that Barak von Zieks graduated from university, in fact.
What? Surely he's not saying... Hey, Laser.
So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life?
As you've surmised, it was the Professor's case.
Who was this professor, then?
It was a series of gruesome murders that happened all in London, gripped in terror, a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death.
And now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy.
Ah, so this professor was probably that Japanese guy that, Von Karma was buddy-buddy with.
Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of abduction.
But I don't understand. How is this all related to Lord Von Zieks?
You must first understand, my dear fellow, why it is that the Professor earned such infamy. It was due to the victims he chose, some of Whitehall's finest.
What do you mean, Hurley?
Those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwaves through the country's administration.
No, it's not a witch trial, no. She's innocent and hot, so... She's just the curator of this wax museum, you know, nothing weird. Members of the... Oh, wait, of course! What Professor Harebrained said. Lord Von Zieks is a family from... with noble blood.
Oh, gosh!
It was the 5th victim that led to the Professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint Von Zieks.
Ooh. Shit. Oop.
No! I don't believe it! Von Zieks? I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barak pursued a career as a prosecutor. And eventually, he became the Reaper we know today.
I had no idea Lord Von Zieks had such a tragic past.
Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. As a waxwork exhibit.
I'm afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well.
Yes, of course. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. She's so cute. She reminds me of Ronnie, actually, a little bit, from Elden Ring. She's very Ronnie-coded, you know, apart from not being a doll or blue skin. But, you know, the doll thing kind of works with the wax. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involving you coming to visit me here. Oh.
It's been so long, it really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barrick.
It's been 10 years. Here we are, meeting in a prison of all places.
I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Asmund. I just can't. Ugh. I still can't believe it could happen.
Tomorrow, the court will decide.
Yes. I have a young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. It was an accident. A terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it.
I must warn you.
Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're gonna be prosecuting, aren't you?
Yes.
Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories. Barrick, are you really...
What?
Never mind. I know that you have my best interests at heart.
My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else.
Oh, that's very sweet. Does he mean us?
Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Barrick.
Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court.
Toodaloo! Is that what the Englanders say these days? I don't know. I've been out of the loop for a while.
Well, there we go. We can actually start our, court. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I last was allowed to work in the court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey.
No, Mr. Naruhodo!
Good morning, Professor Hairbrain.
I don't understand! It doesn't make any sense! The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts! I've never felt anything like it! It's crushing me!
I feel that every time I'm here. That gravity.
Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure?
I think it's probably all in the mind.
Ah, yes. Well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial. To save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail.
My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here.
Yep, called it. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here.
That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Is it, are you... Herlock Sholmes?
Indeed, sir. I am he. Herlock Sholmes, as you put it.
Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Oh, yes. Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany, too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction of the adventure of the Silver Blaze was wonderful.
Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled band.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay.
No.
I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's.
You mean your waxwork job?
No. The waxwork abduction, of course. Madam has engaged my services.
So you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you?
The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention.
Well, never mind then. I understand.
Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Early.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have quite the insatiable desire for pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say.
Oh, yes, quite. Definitely, absolutely, I totally understand. The Pythagorean theorem does leave me with quite the appetite as well.
Is someone a little starstruck?
I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain.
Oh, why, thank you.
Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please.
What's this about?
As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible.
But the professor said that the demonstration was a success. That was my Windows Defender. Thanks, Windows. I'm not in the middle of something here.
Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read the Professor Bunnybrain's paper on about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure it can be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment like that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory.
Well, it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of this trial, I've no doubt.
What's that supposed to mean?
Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley.
I'm just gonna reiterate, when he left initially in the morning to go to the wax museum, you know, theoretically, when we went to Prosecutor I keep trying to call him Von Karma, Von Zeke's office, he had his assistant there, which looked oddly familiar. You know, weirdly familiar. I don't like my deduction on that. And it was there. And then, you know, Iris gave us the little piece of paper that told us where he was. And then we went back and checked if he was still there, and he was not. The assistant was gone once we had unlocked Madame Tuspel's. So, I don't know what's going on. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Oh, what about you, Iris?
Oh, no, I'm afraid I can't help. I've something I need to do.
Ah, so we truly are on our own here. I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
That sounds ominous.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once.
We're on our way. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. Hopefully he doesn't get convicted. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Renosuke. That's the key to this case.
Oh boy.
Let's see our jury. I hope there's at least a few new characters. How is that the exact same jury? Oh! All new characters. Alright. Alright.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting here today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready.
The defense is ready, my lord. 6 months out of practice, and what's more? No! I'm without Susato-san today. Ugh. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual?
So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Udi Asman.
I'm sure his name isn't actually just die as a man, you know. That would be a silly little pun to make.
Mr. Asman was well known as a financer, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom.
By 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well, then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your special duty? Oh, your societal duty. And it's pretty special.
I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials are all nothing more than performances. Any spurious scholar that defies the reputation of science deserves to be hanged.
After listening to what's on both sides of the fence, this one is it?
I love the typewriter corn bit. It's a good bit. But, is a child allowed to stand as a jury member? Wait, that's the guy we found sleeping before. He's just sleeping.
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
That's the police killer Automole look-alike. Again. And he's exhausted as ever, it seems. He's as exhausted as ever.
Now, I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Remember, the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim. No one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
Worst day of their lives so far.
A tragic event, turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all of London, no, the whole world will be on this trial. It's our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zieks. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve London's technological damage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Good lord!
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity. And beam them instantly to another location where they're subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it. That's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity. My goodness, how shocking.
The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. So I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field? I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock.
So, this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
What rot? Order! The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would have been made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmund's life. In order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
But...
This disastrous demonstration was no accident.
Yep, holy shit, new jury, literally, brand new, everyone. Not a single reused character. Except for that one guy that we did see at the other scene, but he was already new to begin with, so.
It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Thank you, Lord Antiques. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the first witness to the stand.
No, our guy himself.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yeah. Hey, 44 days for us! Ha 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 ha. I'm so excited. I watched Arlo's video today, the one he made on his main channel, and yeah, I agree with everything he said, really. It's such a shame that this whole price thing's, like, taken over, because it really does feel like a new era of Nintendo's about to begin. And, like, the games look extraordinary. There's so much hope for the future. Just bogged down by the American fucking economy. Going haywire. You know? There's a big, like, political issue at the source of it. That's not really Nintendo's fault. And, like, sure, they could have just gone lower, but, like, that would have impacted their profits and whatnot. Yep, exactly right. Exactly right! Oh, I can't wait for day one. I can't wait! Of course, mine is coming via mail, so I don't know when exactly in the day we'll be able to stream, but as soon as I get it, I'm gonna record the opening, and then I'm gonna... Well, we're gonna hop on, and my plan was, a number 1 through 12, 6. But my plan for the Switch 2 was we were gonna play, and then we were gonna test out a bunch of the games that, that are getting, like, updates. We're gonna try out Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, just for a little bit. We're gonna try out the GameCube, we're gonna try out all, like, the new shit. There's a bunch of games that are getting, like, soft updates, like, as when the Switch 2 releases. And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is one of them, so I want to at least try that game. And maybe chuck in Odyssey, test that. And then, of course, Mario Kart World, which will hopefully come on the same day. I hope my stuff doesn't come on, like half of it comes on one day, half of it comes on the other. That would suck. But we will see. We will see, will we not? I do have some leave put in for around that time, so it'll be just lots of Switch 2 content around then. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Harebrained, scientist.
You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany, and I made an amazing discovery. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition. I have this friend, he's an artist from Germany. He says it's not going very well. I hope everything's gonna be okay for him. He doesn't turn into some crazy maniac, but, you know, I've got my hopes.
What you demonstrated was incredible, alright? An incredible explosion?
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it, they must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, sorry. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it? The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less? That's right, my lord. It seems the victim rammed straight into it. I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence.
Yeah, I know. Very much on purpose.
As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Asman. Mr. O die as man. Of course, he did die as a man. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So, to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor, splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to that special Suspension for Scientific Equipment Act. What a bunch of malarkey. Doesn't even work as acronym. What a bunch of bullshit.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness?
Sorry, me? I was still caught up on him calling my beautiful invention a piece of wreckage. Can you believe it?
No, your neighbor. Yes, sir, it was a murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What? How can you possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
All right. Let's do it. First testimony. Let's go. Hold on, wait 1 second. Ugh. My Wi-Fi repeater's fucking... Well, it's not broken. I just gotta reset it, but I don't want to touch the power cords in case something happens. I don't know.
Always those damn fish and chips.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I wanted to bring up, on Nintendo today, we got a bunch of Wario images, and oh my god, he's got such cool costumes. He's got one where he's in, like, this really fucking crazy, I don't even know what you'd call that, but, like, I guess it's like biker outfit, but it's like, I don't know. What's that style called? Like Mad Max-ish. And then he's got a bee suit and a miner outfit. Bro has a fucking bee outfit on, man. He's got like the little antennas coming out of his hats. It's so cool. Yep, there's the train behind him, exactly. I know what map that is on. I've seen that map played. I've seen the map with the train. I don't know the name of the track, but I've seen gameplay of it.
The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination reveals another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it.
I wonder if you, like, got rid of the glasses, changed the eyebrows a little bit, got rid of the mustache, got rid of the toupee, and straightened out his beard. How close would he actually be to modern-day Judge? I think it would be pretty close.
In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart.
Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the Judge.
The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No, that couldn't be further from the truth.
I have the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself inside something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan. However, as the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word, one assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear it was just an accident. A terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel. Actually, nah, I don't feel like it. Fuck that autopsy report, we don't need it. Put it away. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. The only other person on the stage with Mr. Ashman was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Why is... that is the most cleavage I think I've ever seen in Ace Attorney. Like, that might even be more than Gyardo. Fuck, what was her name? The clown girl. Mia... I mean, Mia didn't show that much off. I don't know if this is yours to say.
Yes, it's an exquisite design. The breasticles are very plump.
Are you sure? You know what? I'm not so sure anymore, Mr. fucking Omni-Man.
Are you sure?
Guess who's getting his powers? Not Ace Attorney, jackass. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I did forget about the Maya transformation, actually. I did completely forget about the Maya transformation. Bro doesn't even look like she's wearing a bra on that one. Never mind. Mia Freak. Mia Freak. Never mind, I take it back. You know, after the "Are you sure" meme, every time someone says "Are you sure," it plays in my head. Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah, pretty sure. I sent a garbage bag flying into space at work.
Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well, Captain for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. I can understand why this is the third case, but it really feels like they're trying to treat this like it's the first. Though, to be fair, I do prefer getting, like, the flashback trial before the modern-day trial, because it is kind of annoying. Like, which one of the Ace Attorney games it was? It was, like, you get one modern-day trial, and then you do, like, 3 trials in the past. It was just like, ugh. Like, we weren't really moving the story forward, we were just getting context. It was a little annoying. Obviously, it's not a big gripe at all. I mean, the story's so good, but... this. Oh, die as man. I'd like to die as man, too. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. A broken vertebra that was most likely resulting from the impact after the sudden fall from a considerable height. Okay, there's not actually that much here. Courtney Scythe. Okay. Kind of a little bit of a, I don't know, an ominous name there, Courtney. Had a broken neck. There's a lesion in his chest, or he clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. Yep. True. Facts. Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business.
What's that?
The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success. After the explosion, the cage with the fellow inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in mid-air. So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur. Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster?
I made a minor miscalculation of the angle of the beam projection. That's all. It was my mistake.
So the angle of the projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally?
Well, absolutely. The calculation's far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out.
Only you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. That's the point. Sorry. Keeping up this Bentley voice is a little harder than predetermined. The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake.
People fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it.
I took into account the subject's height, weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened.
They see that the Pope died? No, I gotta say the Pope news is not really on my timeline, but, rest in peace, I guess. Well, hey, if you're looking for a new Pope, I mean... Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Asman was wearing at the time, I suppose.
Ah! Crackling comets! The answer should have been 3!
So much for safety first. 3 must be for safety third. Goated Pope fought for gray rights. Well, that's sad that he died. It's good that he fought for gay rights. That's great. You know, whenever it's like Christianity's involved, you never really can tell. You know, love for all and all for love, but no, no, very much not always. That is goated.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, the fatal wound.
Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
2, right.
Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well.
You're saying that's not the case?
You'll get your answer once I finish my fish and chips. If you don't keep butting in every few seconds.
But we all know that's a bottomless bag.
The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that as the cause of death. Right, that's what we all thought, but it was a red herring, wasn't it? There was a lesion in his chest where he'd been clearly stabbed by something sharp right in the heart.
Hold it!
God, when am I gonna get my next fish and chip meal? I really, really want some. Every time he's here, I just, I'm repeating myself just because I'm so hungry. To be fair, I haven't eaten today since I went straight into streaming. So I'm a little peckish, I suppose. I could eat.
The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility during that was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense.
Sarcastic and insincere? Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object?
Among the accused's tools that were in use in the demonstration, one is of a particular interest.
Eat the black mold growing in my fridge. How'd you know there was black mold in there? No, my fridge is mold-free. I've actually got nothing in my fridge except for a half bottle of Coke Zero. I don't have anything else. Unfortunate.
This. Oh, yes, there would appear to be some kind of a screwdriver, wouldn't it, Counsel?
There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew!
Andrew the screwdriver?
The Andrew driver? Andrew. Of course.
Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools.
You know, Hairbrain, this is not helping your case that you're not mentally completely just gone.
I've named them all, you know. We're one big, happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
That isn't.
It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt.
No.
And that's not all. Could you stop waving your fucking arm in my face? You're in the way of my fish and chips. The long, sharp end of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What? What?
Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, that's definitely blood. There's nothing really weird about it other than its handles an A. This is blood, Mr. Asmund's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. So one of Professor Hairbrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great.
So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it.
Hold it!
What grounds do you have for saying that?
Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage, in front of the whole crowd.
Oh, wait, I know how that got there. 100%. The screwdriver must have been shot from the crossbow. That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. And the crossbow was, you know, attempted to be hidden by the bush in plain sight for us to find.
The victim, Mr. Odie Asman, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right, I saw him in my own eyes. Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went near the body. In other words, only someone else on the stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Excuse me.
Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that could be relevant here? Professor!
Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body.
And the witness stand is the best place for that? Seemed as though you might have had something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark.
Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asmund, as you say.
Aye.
Explain, please, Professor.
Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals, with blood running continuously through their veins.
My head hurt.
Then surely you see, if I'd plunged something of that size into Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. Well, thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see, not one.
True, I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument.
Objection. The blood evaporated in the air before... Okay. Order! Pray forgive the discourtesy if I ever drop on my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends adducing. Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Mark. I'm really not a patch on you.
No, you're not.
No?
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Oh, of course! Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Is alcohol allowed at the court, let alone throwing it at a lamp? Oh, don't forget, he throws his bottle, too. He eats that bottle behind him. Bro's just built different. You'll never see him tipsy.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
Very well, you will have to amend your formal testimony for now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air.
Is that right? But it was found at the scene, right? Not where he wound up. Why would you think that, Inspector?
With any wound, it's only like when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. Whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word.
I see.
You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator.
Where's Susato-san when you need her?
If you ask me, this bloke mashed what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Ashman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device and the screwdriver still where he planted it.
I would never do such a thing! Not to my precious tools! I never use them for such dirty work! You only use tools for their intended purpose! That's common knowledge for any scientist!
The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained by the prosecution.
So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Von Zeeks keep that to himself until now on purpose to gain advantage? Oh, well, I suppose all I can do now is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. Must have been left in his body. I guess I could show this since it's not there anymore.
Objection!
Nope. Fair enough, I guess.
Objection!
Great. Well, 2 false objections off the rip. That's nice. Let's do his beam through the air. Whoops. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Broken vertebra, most likely resulting from the impact of after the sudden fall from a considerable height. Right. Okay. Stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. But the actual weapon that we found at the scene and the photo doesn't prove anything since it wasn't in him.
Objection!
No, that's not the objection either. I think this was before. This was given to the people for the experiment, right? I think. Damn. Alright. I did press it already, didn't I? Yeah. I guess I could try pressing everything again, but maybe the objection's obvious here. Because I did get that new info. They reckon it was beamed with him. It was not found in him.
Objection!
No. Shit. Shit! It's not apparent. It's not apparent to me. I thought it was that, you know, it didn't get beamed across with him. Damn, alright. I guess I'll press everything again and see if I can get any new info.
Hold it! Hold it!
Okay. Nothing. Was it this one that he interjected with something? Okay, no, it wasn't that one. Must have been this one then.
Hold it!
Uh-huh. No, that's it. Must have been left in his body while he was beamed through the air, but it's not on his fucking body, is it, bro? Bum 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 bum. I don't know then. I don't know. Thought it was Monday today? Bro has lost count. Oh, bless him. Oh, I'm gonna lose. Fuck, I don't know where the objection is. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. Same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill of the floor of the kinesis machine. Oh, you fucking son of a bitch. You son of a bitch, Ritos! You son of a bitch! Yeah, you! I had to examine the A! You are one sly little bastard. I was right the whole fucking time, and then I just didn't have to... Oh, you... Oh, you sly little... You see that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
No, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body and stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves on this experimentation stage.
What?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through the metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, now that you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Hey, no, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing.
Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight, on the stage. But it shouldn't have been.
What are you getting at?
If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it should have still been on the stage.
Yeah.
That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. So I should have been able to show the victim photo, you know?
Order, how do we explain this, Inspector? Well, I don't.
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying the instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution's unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Von Zeeks is stumped. Okay, well, I can make a guess at who said that.
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes, I knew it! It bears out! The equations hold! Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry!
About what?
Without delving into details, there's no inconsistency.
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations.
What? Oh, there he goes.
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation.
Just when I'd found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists.
Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
He hasn't even been born yet.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal through. Metal. Hence the metal weapon would have had to stay put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. As Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon my hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by the method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrain?
Yes?
Whose side are you on here?
But I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend.
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering my data in my research.
And yet your report to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way.
No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem.
But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious situation, don't you?
No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know.
Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist?
I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know.
It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind.
You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times.
So Lord Van Zieks really did have a friend once? I didn't notice hell freezing over.
My hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence the metal weapon would have stayed put.
Your hypothesis states it? So this isn't even proven then?
No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it's widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct.
What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy?
That's the whole reason the birdcage is made of wood, you see.
Sorry, the birdcage?
Oh, yes, that's what I call the obtusa cage in which Mr. Asmund was placed in for kinesis.
The jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made out of a timber of sort.
Thank you to refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship.
In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal. Correct?
Yes, that's it. Yes. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model.
But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict the fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Ah, indeed, sir.
Someone beat me out of this nightmare.
Hold it!
You seem to be pleased by that.
Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I said some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased?
No.
I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Asmund losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse, I know that.
Oops. Sorry, I gotta readjust. My seating is becoming very, very uncomfortable. Up, up, boom. Up, 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 boop, 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 boop.
There we are.
Difficult. Did you have a close relationship with Mr. Asman?
Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I'd only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis in the project. And the research grant, of course.
Hold it!
How did you come to know Mr. Asman in the first place?
A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work.
That's a scientific journal. Good gracious, I should need new spectacles.
I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered-down water out of a tiny little glass. But Mr. Asman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory.
Offered you money to help fund your work.
Exactly! That's when it happened. I handle the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Asman provided me an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us produced that fantastic machine together.
The machine that you brought to the Great Exhibition to demonstrate.
We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Asman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man. Really, I owe him everything.
Hold it!
When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean you were involved in its construction?
Yes. Well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by my engineer.
The remains of your creation now, though. Following the explosion, repair will no doubt be impossible.
Yes, I realize that, but still. If someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret to my hypothesis. But Mr. Asman and I toiled over that machine for so long, we put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of our machine must be kept safe. That's only fair because of what happened.
Well, that's the extent of the testimony then. Well, thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. It seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder, what is it if his hypothesis is fundamentally flawed? Well, by that line, it's probably this then. Thank you, Foolproof. I didn't even see that. I don't know. Cannot transport metal, though. Hence the metal weapon that should have stayed put. And that would have stayed put. Kill all bots. Okay. Is that not metal that? There?
Objection.
Professor Hairbrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
In that case, I'd like to ask you to take a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. Oh, I didn't even see that. I was looking at the button. It's like, maybe that's metal. Oh, I didn't even... He's got a metal monocle. You can clearly see that Mr. Asmon's wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No! Metal can't. That's not. Metal? No!
We've already established the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found at the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted the outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place.
Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Ah!
Order, order, order! Counsel, what's the implication of this?
If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day! The experiment was a success! The experiment was proof of all my work!
If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, Joe number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow of science.
What? Wait, Great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It has been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say that the wreckage of the machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No! Never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis! It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act!
What the devil is this Flash Act all about, eh? Who made up this daft rule?
I don't like the way this is going. What's the best way for me to help the professor?
Objection!
Ugh. Professor Hairbrain is yet to perfect his invention. And that would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection! He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
Ugh.
The government was foolish enough to deem the man's ridiculous notion plausible. And his co-conspirators have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators?
That would seem to be the value of such a grant, £10.
On order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year.
Oh, you could live on handsome on that much for years.
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And there are plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get this largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
No, I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound, the science is sound. Please, you have to believe me.
Objection! No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Barrack!
And therefore, the only person who could have possibly committed this murder is the accused.
Barrack.
Where's he heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Bandees. The prosecution would like to summon a new witness to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses.
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche.
And the accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage, before the eyes of the very spectators. Now, my learned friend.
Oh, yes?
It's time for you to make your own stance clear.
There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Bum ba, bum bum ba, bum ba, bum bum ba. To be continued? Is that a good place to leave off for today? I'm not sure. So I do have another game lined up. I don't know. You know what? Why not? We did a longer one yesterday. We'll do a shorter one today. So we'll leave Ace Attorney here for now. Depending on the length of the second stream, perchance there may be a third, but no promises. But yeah, so that was Great Ace Attorney 2 for today. It's heating up, the trial is. So we will see what happens next time. And hopefully a little more will be made clear about, all that wax stuff going on. What exactly is happening here. So I will be right back. I will be perhaps like an hour or so, because I'm going to go actually eat some food, and then we'll be ready to stream my little game that I've got lined up. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be interesting. So I will see you all there if you decide to join. Thank you for tuning in to Ace Journey today. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.